Hi everyone, welcome back to The Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and today we'll be continuing our Harry Potter Miniverse Make It Mini Potion series with a new bottle. So let's take a look and see what's inside, shall we? Alright, so let's take a look and see what's inside, shall we? Our little wrapped, I assume this is the potion tote. It is. We'll put a little ingredient bottle in there. Our cauldron, which contains our resin. Our funnel. Alright, so we've got read me first. I will not. Alright, let's see what we'll be making today. Hellebore Syrup. Interesting. Alright. Yep, okay. This is still from Series 1 Wave A because the rare, ultra rare, and limited edition are not filled in. Push this table. We've got a little thing of ingredients here. These just look like stones. Very similar to the stones we used in the Potions Classroom set. And we've got a coloring powder for the resin. We have a little scoop, tongs. We have our large bottle. A little stopper to that bottle. A little clear thread, which has a little key on it. And this is black thread, label and cord, fiber color. So we'll use that to label our potion after we've made it. Well then, let's get started. Okay, so this is everything we need to make our Hellebore Syrup. It's going to be put into this bottle. Now, one note that's interesting to think about for this particular wave of Series 1 is the fact that a lot of the potions that you make aren't actually potions. They're just ingredients. Polyjuice Potion is a potion. Amortentia is a potion. Felix Felicis is a potion. But almost all of the other potions that we make are just ingredients used in potions. So it's kind of a weird misnomer to call these potions. And I think that that's actually going to be reflected in how the potions are made. This is a very simple setup. You just mix it together and pour it into this. There's really nothing else to it. There's no, shall we say, artistry to this. You're just dumping things in, mixing them, and then putting them in, decanting them into a container. So, moving on to lore. In the Harry Potter books, this is called Syrup of Hellebore, not Hellebore Syrup. It's an ingredient that's used in the Draught of Peace, Wolfsbane Potion, and a couple of other potions as well, but the point is that it is extraordinarily poisonous. That comes from the actual Hellebore plant, which historically during the Middle Ages was renowned as a magical plant. It was a folk remedy used for various ailments such as gout. In high doses, it is extraordinarily lethal. And the plant itself was supposedly used by witches and wizards and magic users and alchemists during the time to supposedly help them summon demons. So let's just sidestep that entire discussion. It does make one appearance where Harry forgets to add the Hellebore Syrup to his Draught of Peace, and Snape vanishes his potion as a result. But that's pretty much the only claim to fame for this particular ingredient. So let's see how they want us to make it. Like the Polyjuice Potion, I will be decanting the resin from the cauldron into a resin container so that we can actually take a look and see what's going on as we progress. Now, I did learn my lesson from the Polyjuice Potion. I will not be mixing this potion in the resin container quite so vigorously, and that will hopefully alleviate a lot of the bubble issue that I had with the previous potion. Open, damn it, open. Let's just clear off this workspace a bit. All right, so here is the presumably clear. It is clear. This is the clear resin that we'll be using for this potion. Hello? Grab my pills. All right, I think that's all that's in the cauldron itself. Okay, as typical for Miniverse instructions, the instructions are extraordinarily vague. You just tap a couple of magical bits of this coloring powder in, dump your stones in, stir, and then pour it into the vial. So let's see how that works out. Once again, everything is unlabeled. This just says magic on it. Whoa, that is overfilled. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is like hilariously overfilled. Whoa, okay. Maybe I didn't want that quite so much, but let's start with that and see what color we end up with, and then maybe I'll add some more. The pictures depict a very light blue color, not quite a sky blue, more of a what you would consider watercolor blue, an aqua color. See if we can do this without causing the bubble issue from the previous video. Shall we? This powder is wonderfully iridescent. I am enjoying the look of it just so far. I don't think I'm going to add any more powder. I think this is a very nice color to work with. The Hellebore Syrup image on the packaging depicts it as being a very light, which makes sense because if you use too much of this powder, you wouldn't be able to see the stones floating in it. I don't know what purpose the stones hold, especially if this is just an ingredient that you add to other ingredients to make another kind of potion, like the Draught of Peace. I don't know why it would have stones in it, but you can't very well have a potion that has nothing in it other than resin and coloring. They don't want the project to be that simple. All evidence to the contrary notwithstanding. I think we are getting this very well integrated together. I still see some areas where there is just clear resin. I can see it, and it's not hasn't properly taken on the color. So I'm just going to continue doing this for just a little while longer. It doesn't seem like I'm having the bubble issue from before. It's very much like making a non-yeasted rising cake, where you whip up egg whites to stiff peaks and then fold them into the dough, the rest of the batter, to make the cake rise. You don't want to overmix. You just want to fold everything in together so that it makes a homogeneous medium. But I think this is working. I think we're almost there, really. Really just a matter of agitating the resin instead of whipping the resin. For the stones, it says add 1 stone, but I mean, I think that's just a representative image. I'm going to dump all the stones in. Let's be reckless and wild here. I mean, I can't say I very well like the green color that we're kind of ending up with, because the stones are refracting the rest of the light. And the stones are yellow and orange, and they're just making the blue around it kind of greenish, without actually directly introducing any colorant into the mix. Let's pour this then, shall we? All right, now in previous videos, actually every single video I've done, something has gotten stuck in this funnel. So I assume that these stones are going to get stuck in the funnel. Let's see if I'm proven right or wrong. Yep, there they go. Yep, exactly as I expected. All right, 1 more stone, just because you're hanging on the edge there. Let's get you in there. I mean, this is a mite sight better than trying to make it in the cauldron, because how would you guys be seeing any of this? And also, why would you want to dirty the absolutely adorable little ladle that they give you? I mean, granted, ladles come with like half of these sets, so it's not like you're not going to have a ladle left over. But still, it reminds me of a big question about the appliance line from Miniverse. Because the appliance line in Miniverse tells you to put the resin into the drink dispenser and then just dispense the resin out into the cup. And it's like, why would you dirty this huge thing by pouring resin into it? Yeah, I mean, for play, I suppose it's cool, but that just seems something mildly permanent. More permanent than I'd like it to be. They really did not give you a lot of resin here. Seems like there should be more. I mean, all of these things are pretty well filled up in containers. This one really is only 3/4 of the way full. Oh well, let's just say that Snape hasn't replenished his stores recently, shall we? I want to agitate some of these stones a little bit. They're not all in the bottom, although I assume that that's how they're going to end up anyway. Okay, so I think I'm going to take a tip from the potions classroom instructions, which was to tip the potions on their side to get the heavier ingredients to look more like they're suspended in the liquid rather than just sitting down at the bottom, because if you'll notice, all of these stones are just sitting right there. And if I move them with a toothpick, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get them to stay suspended for too long before they just fall. All right, let's try to cure that and we'll see how it looks. All right, we're going to give this a try with this new handy dandy full-size curing machine that we have now. So let's try this, shall we? All right, so 5 minutes under that contraption, and we are actually pretty solid. It looks okay. I mean, the stones fell. I did do a little, there's a couple of stones that are just kind of suspended, I guess. So that's nice, I guess. I like the color of it. I like the color of it a lot. Stopper in, and then we get to put our fiber on. Okay, I still don't have a pen small enough to write down Hellebore Syrup on this container, but we know what it is. Now this one does have a key on it, a brass key. I don't know for what reason. It's not like this is locked, so, but I mean, what else are we going to use this cord for? So I'm just going to use the whole cord on it. All right, and so there you are. This is the Hellebore Syrup, or Syrup of Hellebore if you prefer. It looks very nice. This is a very nice little bottle. It's nice that it has this little ornament here. Once again, I have no idea what this key is for. The label is very nice. It doesn't stick very well. It's not a very adhesive label, but it does the job very well. And I mean, what is more whimsical fantasy world than gum-pasted labels that are peeling off of old bottles of ingredient? So this is the Hellebore Syrup. I'm mystified why it's not an actual potion, it's just an ingredient. I have some questions about how Miniverse comes up with their sets. This is not really an exciting set. Color-wise, it is very different from the Polyjuice potion, so I mean, I guess if they were going for each potion being a completely different color with different scintillating effects in the resin, so that when you line them all up, they all look distinct, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that that works out. On the whole, I'm not disappointed with this set. I mean, I am disappointed with this set. Simply because it's not really a very exciting build. It's you just pour it in and then you set it. And There's very little that you can do here to add your own little mark to it, aside from how you manage to get the stones to get suspended in the resin. I really didn't like the fact they didn't give you enough resin to fill the bottle. That kind of bothers me. And I don't think it's something where there's spare resin left in the cauldron, because even if I were to make this potion in the cauldron like it tells you to, there's no guarantee that you're going to get all of that resin out of the cauldron when you pour. I mean, I'm happy with it. It looks very nice. It's visually distinct. It does scintillate. It's a very attractive color that you can decide how much blue you want to put in. I put this much in. I like this color. In all, I think the set is very cute. As I said before, I think that if their aim was to make each set visually distinct from the others, just by virtue of color, then I'll have to wait to see if, when I line up all of the ones that I'm going to make, I can say, okay, I get it. Right now, I don't. I would say that this is the same container that the pink acid green baby skull potion was that I made for the Potions Classroom set. So the bottle itself, not distinct. Just like the Polyjuice potion, not a distinct enough bottle. But then again, playing devil's advocate, how are you supposed to make ingredients or potions that are not given in the book or the movies in a visually distinct bottle? How are you supposed to come up with a visually distinct bottle to put them in for these sets? That's why Skelligro was so interesting, because the Skelligro container is interesting. It's very iconic, and Dragon's Blood, Felix Felicius, all of these things look extraordinarily specific, because that's kind of how they were described in the book. Not really, but that's how they were shown in the movies. So you can immediately say, oh, that's Felix Felicius, because that's the only thing that comes in that particular type of bottle. I mean, for a base ingredient, I don't think you need to go crazy. I think this is fine. I think that we're going to have to see as we move forward how we think Miniverse thought these things up, why they are the way they are. The fact that this is simply an ingredient and not a potion in and of itself is kind of disappointing. I assume that I'm going to have the same problems with Armadillo Bile and Murtlap Essence. I don't think they made a Dittany. That would be a perfect set to use for Miniverse makeup. It comes in a very tiny poison-looking arsenic bottle that is just powder that you tap on bleeding wounds to stop the bleeding. It's just a styptic, really. I can't even recall if we see it in the movies. I recall that Hermione says she needs to get it. Aside from maybe seeing the bottle, I don't think we ever see it applied. So, I mean, that's a huge thing. There you go. Hellebore Syrup, Syrup of Hellebore. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of The Shelves Have Eyes. Thank you for your support throughout last year, and thank you for your, hopefully, coming support this year. As we continue this series, I will say that I'm having a lot of fun decoding what Miniverse is doing here with these potions and comparing what they are in the lore. Particularly, the Polyjuice potion was a lot of fun for that very reason. None of these are particularly correct, let's say, but they are magical. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll be coming out with more of these. If you enjoy them, please leave a like, comment, consider subscribing to the channel. Anyway, I've been Phantom. Thank you very much for joining me, and good night, y'all.